Hello, welcome to the Hypno Travelers on the Magical Psyche Highway podcast. That's right. Your host and tour guide is Scott Prevette, a healer, hypnotist, and a magician. And your bus driver is Jason Gobelli, also a hypnotist, an entrepreneur, and a spiritual guide. Trip with us on the Inner Revelation bus. That's right. One quick disclaimer, neither Jason, Scott, or any of our guests here today are licensed professional psychologists or psychiatrists. So please don't make any changes to any medication or treatments that you are currently on, based on the conversation that you hear here today. Just hop on the bus and enjoy the ride. Give us a like, love, or comment, and remember to share your experience with others because there is always room for more in this bus. That's right.
Hey, welcome back to the Hypno Travelers on the Magical Psyche Highway. I'm Jason. We got Scott here, and we got a great guest today. We got Sam Shelley. That's right, the Miracle Man. It's good to see you guys.
Hello, welcome.
Sam, listen, I got a question for you. Why the Miracle Man? Tell us about why you're the Miracle Man.
Well, Jason and Scott, it's really nice to be here because, I was a sick, disabled man for 38 years with multiple sclerosis, bipolar, PTSD, migraines, arthritis, psoriasis.
Wow.
And the issues, I just had lots and lots of issues. And now I've been healthy for about 12 years with no signs of MS, bipolar, or anything. I don't no longer need a cane, no longer 13 medications, no longer a team of 6 doctors, that it's all gone.
Wow. Now that's amazing. So how the hell did that happen?
My simple 5-minute a day practice. It was simply 5 minutes a day. What I realized, so I read about meditation brings inner peace. I'm like, I need inner peace. I was so stressed out, so overwhelmed with life. I needed peace. When I read meditation brings inner peace, like I need that. So I didn't really have a teacher for meditation. And when I read it, it didn't really talk much about meditation, just pretty much sitting there relaxing. So that's pretty much what I did, was sit there and relax. But I was under the impression that meditation means you stop thinking. So I would be sitting there relaxing and the mind would be start thinking and I'd be like, stop thinking, mind thinking, stop thinking. Then I realized, wait a second, that's a thought chasing a thought. Then I simply knew I'm not my thoughts. Then my mind got really quiet at that point and was like, if I'm not my thoughts, who am I? So I sat with that question, who am I? And a few weeks later, I heard a voice say perfect spirit, or the intuitive voice say perfect spirit. That is our true nature, is spirit, soul. So once I no longer taking my thoughts as truth, the body came back into harmony. It came back into balance when I knew my true nature, to realize that I have thoughts, but I'm not my thoughts. And it's very similar to Eckhart Tolle in his awakening. When he was very depressed, he kept saying, I can't live with myself. I can't live with myself. Who's the I can't live with? And he had that aha too. So for both of us, it was very quick to realize we are self, we are spirit, we are soul. We are not all these thoughts, and I call it all the head trash, because usually it's all the negativity that we have in our mind, that we're not good enough, we're not worthy, life is hard, I'm broke, and all these stories. But we have to realize we are spirit, we are the infinite divine. We can have it all. It's simply the mind that's saying, no, you can't have that. But I just help people now saying, we got to go beyond the mind, beyond the thoughts, beyond the body, and into our true essence, which is that vibrant soul, always shining that bright light. But these things get in the way. Like my background is on purpose, that we are the sky. We're the unchanging sky, and the clouds is the life, the thoughts, all the challenges, all the storms, all the challenges that come. But eventually they'll drift away and the sky will remain the same. That's how our spirit is. That's how our soul is. It's that never changing essence. Like our soul is never damaged by the human experience. Like even though I was sick for 38 years, my soul was fine. And then when I got the mind out of the way, the body came back into balance. I was never focused on healing myself. And I see a lot of people focusing on healing themselves and like, no, that's the wrong approach. We need to align and remember who we really are. Then things will get back into balance. because things are not into balance right now because of our thoughts, our beliefs, our opinions that are creating issues.
Nice. Nice. Oh, this nice. So this is this aha moment. What kind of stimulated this aha moment in you? What
Well,
so
well,
did
that was
here or
no, this is really, really interesting how I read about meditation, of how I was led into meditation, because I was dealing with multiple sclerosis. I was pretty much a couch potato. I would have extreme chronic fatigue. I would need a cane to get around. I had a lot of difficulty, so I watched a lot of TV. But I used to watch ghost hunting shows, but I didn't know if ghosts were real or not. I just watched these ghost hunting shows. It was entertainment for me. But then I saw a tweet from a ghost hunter about an event they were having in Philadelphia. It's like, oh, I can go to that. I can put my cooling vest on, get my cane, get a hotel room nearby because the fatigue is bad. I can probably go there for about an hour, hour and a half before the fatigue would become too much. So I went to the Fort Mifflin in Philadelphia, and I did my research before, and it was like, oh, the casemates are the most active. So let's go to the casemates. So they would give you assigned groups, but I didn't get to the groups. I wanted to go to the casemates because I knew my time was limited with MS. I had about an hour. So I went to the casemates and I had experiences I could not explain. So there was a flashlight going on and off by command. Like they would ask a question, flash would turn on or off based on the question. But I was a skeptic. So it's like, wait a second, that's not my flashlight. So I put up my flashlight and it was doing the same thing. Then I also felt, I was sitting on a bench. Then I felt somebody sitting next to me that physically wasn't there. I just felt this presence sit next down to me. Then I just felt this overwhelming sense of dread coming from that presence. So it's like, so then after the event was over, after that was over, it's like, well, that was interesting. What did I experience? So I started to read some books based on that experience. And I saw like mediums speak to dead people, but how do they do that? So I started to read a book about from mediums and stuff, but my eyesight was very poor from the MS as well. So I could read like 2, 3, 4 pages at a time before we get migraines and all sorts of issues. So eventually I came upon when they're talking about meditation. And that's when they talked about the benefits of like raising their vibration to talk to spirits. But one of the benefits was of meditation was inner peace. I'm like, I need that.
nice. Nice. So your meditation is how do you do your practice? Your med
Um,
practice.
it's I
What
tell people it doesn't matter how you're holding your hands, breathing, posture. It's just mind wants to judge things. So we don't want the mind to judge things. We want to sit and relax. So my practice is to sit and relax. And when the mind starts thinking, distracting, I'll just come back to the body. Where are my feet? Where am I sitting? What am I touching? What am I hearing? So I would just really get myself back into this moment because we're either in the mind, which is past, future, or we're fully here. Like a lot of people will be listening to this, not realizing that they're sitting right now, that they're listening. They're maybe caught up in the story. So really what I was doing was learning to be here. Once again, as Eckhart Tolle talks about the power of now. I had no idea my practice was the power of now. Just being here, being here, being here. Then I realized, not my thoughts. I'm spirit, I'm soul. Then I simply knew that all is well. I just had a deep sense that all is well once I knew myself as spirit. All is well. And I simply, all fear of my health was simply gone. I just knew it was all over. And I just followed that intuitive voice within me to, drink more water, less TV, do yoga, whatever it was. I would follow that voice. But I had full faith in that voice too and trust. Because when I heard the voice say, do yoga, my mind was coming up with all these stories. Your balance is horrible, you're not flexible, and there's all these stories about why I couldn't do yoga. Well, I ignored that voice. And 2 days later, I was signed up to a yoga studio doing yoga. And 6 months later, I didn't need the cane anymore because I trusted that voice, that deeper inner voice that I tell people that your spirit knows the way forward, your soul knows the way forward. We simply have to get the mind quiet and out of the way so we can hear what's best for us. It's not our job to figure it out. Like, how do I do this? Because you told me to go, you have to go heal the body. That'd been too big of a leap for the mind. The mind doesn't know how to heal the body. It guesses. But if you get the mind out of the way, spirit knows exactly what you need. And I tell people that you live in your body. You know it the best. I'm not talking about a mental knowing. I'm talking about this deeper knowing within you. Like, you know, when you get to eat more fruits and vegetables versus junk food, candy, you know that. But it's really trusting that deeper inner voice that this is my path. And that's what I'm trying to educate people is trust yourself. So now, now I've been doing this for a while now. So this weekend, I'm launching the Vibrant Soul Society on Circle, which will be my community where I'll have like 2 to 4 live events each week, very low cost. People can interact with me live because I really want people to tap into their vibrant soul. Like if they're stressed out, they're suffering, they're overwhelmed with life, nothing is working out. Well, your soul knows the way forward. We don't need to figure things out. We need to let go. We need to relax and be here. It's that simple. Just be here and listen to yourself.
So, how do you distinguish that separation where you're listening to yourself or your spirit, or possibly you're listening to the head trash?
Yeah, this is the skill of discernment. It is a skill of discernment. Excuse me. So the spirit will say, do yoga. The mind will say, do yoga because of these benefits and these reasons and these justifications. Spirit won't give you justifications. It will just say, do this, do that. Where the mind will come up with reasons and excuses why you need to do something. So that's the big difference. Spirit is just like, do this, do that. There's no debate about it. The mind will start hashing through the plans and details and all sorts of things, but it's just about a matter of trusting that impulse, that instinct within us.
So you teach people basically how to get in touch with their spirit self and how to listen and live with themselves?
Yeah, that's basically it, is getting the mind quiet. And the way I do this too is also energetically as well. So when I'm doing these healing sessions, I'm dropping into this really deep, deep space. And then I'm merging with that person in consciousness. That's the best way I can explain it. I'm merging with them. Typically, they're feeling peace they've never felt before, a deep peace. And when they tell me they're feeling peace, I know they're aligned with their spirit. So where I teach people, where I help people is where a gift of a guru, if you will, is where they sit with you in presence. But what I do, I just don't sit with people. I make the intention to connect with them on a spirit or soul level. So that's where I'm connecting with them and I'm clearing out all this debris, whether it's in the mind or in the body. And miraculous things really, really happen when we get into this soul level healing. That's the best way to describe it. We're trying to heal from the soul, not from the mind, but I'm really trying to bring that soul forward and really illuminate the body and clear out the body so it's within them. So when people do my playbacks of my talks and my sessions with them, they still feel the same energy because there's no time and space. They're just setting that intention. So people are playing my meditations 3, 4 years later, and they're still getting the same benefits. They're still getting the same results because unfortunately, the mind's favorite game is I got it, I lost it. We feel this peace, then life happens. Challenges come and we lose it, but then we get back to it, then life happens again. So it's just the game we play to it eventually will lock in where you just know yourself as soul, as spirit. But until then, there might be years of I got it, I lost it phase. And that's fine because that door can never be fully closed. You just notice it's like, oh, I'm trapped in the mind again. Things aren't working out. My health isn't great. My finances aren't great. That's just this indication that you're too much in the mind, and we need to find that middle way of being a spiritual being living on this human experience where we're not so stressed, we're not so worried, we're finding our path. And that's my whole thing is I don't have the recipe for everyone. I always am really firm that you live in your body. You need to follow your instructions, your way forward from your spirit. That is your path. It's not one size fits all. And that's what I see a lot in the world is one size fits all. You have to do this recipe, you have to do this diet, you have to do this routine. Why is that true for you? That might not be the best case for you. So if you're doing fasting and all sorts of things, and like, well, where did that come from? oh, I read about this book. It didn't come from them, or some person told them to do that, but it didn't come from them. So was it really for them? They might be get some benefits, but there might be another practice that's better for them. So that's what I'm really trying to do in my lives, is help people to remember themselves, to find their path, and teach them that skill of discernment. How do we know when the mind's being a trickster versus what's really coming from the spirit? Because it could be really subtle that you're not even aware of. You think the spirit's leading you this way, but the mind's really being deceptive.
So it really sounds like this is a heavy, heavy spiritual journey. So is this a relationship that you have with the universe or God, or what do you do in your spiritual nature practice?
Well, that's the thing, is we are one with everything. There is no separation. Separation exists in the mind, and there is none. It's really realizing that we are one with the God, universe, source, whatever it is. It's like the sun and the sunbeam. You can't separate them. So you're really getting to this place when you're in spirit soul, you're connected to all that is, and all the answers are there. So there is nothing to figure out. It's just a matter of relaxing and diving into this space and finding your way forward. And just realize you're setting your intention in this deeper space, and you're just allowing the instructions to unfold within you. That people get impatient trying to figure things out, but it's really about relaxing and standing in your power and moving accordingly to that.
So your thing is beyond head trash. So in one way, we're thinking we need to get out of the trance that we're in, but in another way, we want to get into a spiritual trance that we're going through. Isn't that correct?
Well, we want to be spirit. We really want to just be spirit, soul, but we have to live in this human experience. So we have to find that middle way, that balance for us. When I was completely in the mind, I suffered for 38 years with all these disease issues. And people have this too, their life isn't working out as they planned. And they're having all these health issues, could be financial issues, could be career issues, could be relationships issues. There's all sorts of things that get in the way that we're not even aware of. So it's really just letting go, going beyond the mental stories. And a lot of time we're not even aware of the subconscious stuff. So what's coming to me is a story about a relationship. This woman in her 30s never could have a good relationship. And she didn't understand what was going on. She was spiritual, she was doing all these things, but she didn't understand why her relationships weren't working out. So we did a session. Sometimes my sessions are quiet, sometimes there's back and forth talking. So like I said, I merge with people at a deeper level. And when I merge with her, I'm like, okay, I'm here. I'm like 5 or 6 years old. You're sitting in the audience watching a show and you seem really upset. What's going on here? And she said, oh, that's when we moved, like when we were 5 or 6, and I couldn't participate in the new ballet company because I didn't know the routines. Oh, so you felt like you weren't good enough, that you weren't worthy. And once we were able to unwind that story at 5, 6 years old, everything opened up.
Nice.
Wow.
Nice. So speaking of opening up, let's get personal about you opening up. We know you do a lot of work with your wife, Lori, right? You do a lot of
Yes.
work with Lori. And so did you meet her before when the head trash was there, or did you meet her after you've had this awakening?
Oh, she was afterwards, because once you get out of the head trash, and life just changes completely. Life just flips 180. Things that aren't serving your life just drop away. So I was living in the Philadelphia area. Lori was here in New York, and we just clicked when we first met. We just clicked, and it's just things came in the universe together really, really in an interesting way, because even before I knew Lori, I was going to a science and non-duality conference in California, but it's like, well, I need business cards for this conference. So I put Astoria, New York on the business card. I know where Lori lives? Astoria, New York. So I went to the conference, was saying Astoria, New York on in there. I wasn't living there. 6 months later, I'm living there with Lori. 6 months, but so many doors had to open and close. So many huge pieces of the puzzle had to move out of the way. There's no way I could have figured out how am I going to get myself to New York? There's just too many things going on in life. I just set that intention for Astoria, got out of the way, universe made things happen. So she came into life after my awakening, and life was just really resetting in a really deep, profound way. Like a lot of things had to really shift for me to move out of Pennsylvania to New York, but happened so quickly and so smoothly.
So did you manifest her, or was she just a gift from the universe?
Well, that you can't really answer that because we get into this place of we are the universe. We realize we are one with the universe. So I set that intention, Astoria, New York. It wasn't for me to figure it out. How's that going to happen? It's to get out of the way and allow and just surrender to that deeper essence of just doing your thing. And that's my intention. And we'll see it works out. And it's really interesting when you set these intentions, how quickly they can turn around. A funny story, when I was first becoming a spiritual teacher back in Pennsylvania, I actually had an office space at that time, a little space. But it was, there was just like a bathroom there too, right? But the bathroom broke. There's an issue with the bathrooms, like so it was like a Friday night. I guess I just like a Friday night. It's like somebody needs to fix the bathroom. I came back like Sunday and the bathroom was fixed. I didn't do anything. I didn't tell anybody about it. I set the intention. I just said somebody needs to fix the bathroom. Sunday, it was working fine, like no issues.
So then, according to this model, it seems like everything is supposed to happen for a reason. So you were supposed to go through all that struggle in early life to get where you are now, right?
Right, there are no mistakes in the universe. There are no mistakes. Everything is here to help us remember who we really are. Like I didn't go through 38 years of suffering. I could have stopped it and earlier if I just realized, wait a second, I'm blindly following the mind and all these stories. If I didn't stop and pause, then I could see. But unfortunately, we don't. We get programmed. We go to school, we learn education, we get into these routines, rituals that we go to school, we go to university, we get a 9 to 5 job. We're programmed to behave a certain way. You're sick, you go to the doctor, you get medicine, you do physical therapy. It's the routine. And we follow these routines. And that's why I want people to stop following the routines. What is your path? You're following the recipe from everyone else that says go to school, get an education, get a job. But is that your best recipe? If you're sick, you go to the doctor. Is that best for you? And it's really questioning like what is best for me, and really stepping into that. What is best for you? Only you can really answer that, and all I can do is guide you to you, the real you. My job is simply to guide people back to who they are. And for people that need healing, that come to me for healing, I'm just focusing on illuminating their soul, for their soul to take over, to clear out all that garbage and debris that's causing these issues. And I really don't know what's going to happen. Another story, a friend of a friend called me into the hospital. She was at stage 4 cancer, metastasized through her body. She literally had days left to live. I did an hour-and-a-half session with her. She lived for another 5 years, had a wonderful more years with her family, but she had a good life. I got her back into who she was. And once her son graduated from high school, she's like, "Oh, I'm satisfied. I got to see him." Then then the body faded away. But before then, even up to her son graduating from high school, she was really good shape. It's just like she's finally surrenders, like, all right, now I'm gonna leave now.
Wow. So you don't go to the doctor anymore, then, do you?
Well, I'm not opposed to going to the doctor if we can feel within us like I need a little medicine. I have an infection in the body, like I had a stomach bug. I needed an antibiotic for that. So I just simply knew that the body needed a little help. It needed some medicine. So I'm not opposed to doctors and medicine. I'm just opposed to blindly following that this is what I must do. But if I sit with that, it's like, okay, my stomach's acting up a little bit. I'm trying to move energy around and stuff. And it's like, all right, I feel like I need an antibiotic. Something is just clinging to it for whatever reason. There's no rules. There's no rules to life. You got to do what you feel is right for you. If you feel like you need the doctor, you need that medicine, then do that. My whole thing is just don't blindly follow that. This is my routine. We just got to sit within and say, what is the right thing for me in this circumstance? So like if you broke an arm or a leg, you're not going to sit there and say, oh, I'll fix this myself. No, you need somebody to set that bone. You need some help. And that's what we got to see. The outside world, if you will, is our tools, our aids, our helpers. But the instructions have to come from us, like what is best for us. Something's going on in the body, it needs a little help. I don't understand. I'm not getting clarity on it. Let me see my doctor.
The lady with cancer that you helped, was it part of that 5-minute routine in the morning that you were talking about? Is that what helped her?
No, what I did for her was I merged with her soul. I merged with her consciousness. And I allowed her soul to come through. She described it to me as seeing this golden energy weaving in and out of her body. That's how she described it. She said whenever she closed her eyes, she would just see this golden energy moving through her body, which was her soul doing that work of trying to heal and clear that cancer with this golden energy and she lived 5 years. She really recovered from the hospital, but it's almost like she reached that milestone, then moved on. It's like that was like an important thing for her to hang on, if you will, this, I can make it to this. And I can't really explain it. If I knew that that she was planning to exit, I probably intervened a little bit and just try to tap into her again and just see really what's going on, because there are choices we can make at the soul level. Like, this has been a very challenging, difficult life. It's time for me to move on. And I have a story to share with that too. One of the doors that had to move for me from moving to Pennsylvania to New York was my mom was in a nursing home with Alzheimer's. So I was sticking around Pennsylvania pretty much to keep an eye on her in a nursing home and things like that. Well, my mom was constantly praying to God to go home. That was her thing. She was just constantly praying to go home. Yeah, so what I was saying, like my mom was praying to go home every day. She'd be praying to go home. Well, they found her one day, in a prayer position in the bathroom, deceased. She got her wish.
Wow.
Now, listen, how do you merge souls?
Well, I can't explain it. I cannot explain. I just get really deep quiet. I set that intention and it happens.
It's not a specific trance that you
No,
induct in?
no, I just drop really deep into a space and I simply say, the divine love within me connects to the divine love within you. And I'll say that silently to myself and it just happens. And I'll get images, flashes sometimes of what's going on in their life, or I'll feel their pain. I'll feel whatever they're going through. I'll feel it. Like another story to share, I was talking to this woman on a phone call and she's talking about all this chronic leg pain. She had all this chronic leg pain. And she's like, your doctors can't figure out what's going on. And so I just, even on this 15-minute call, just a clarity call, I was like, oh, I see what's going on here. And I was able to clear it. What she was relating her leg pain to a previous experience, a previous injury that was holding it into place. So I saw that and I was able to clear that belief out that was holding that pain in place. And she was like, oh, the pain's gone. But something's very interesting happens. If I take somebody that's in a 9-10 level pain down to 0, under 3, it has a good chance it may come back. Because the mind's like, hey, where'd all that pain go? And it will drag it back. So I tell people you have to keep listening to these meditations. It's like baking an oven, if you will. We have to keep burning away these beliefs and stories that are creating the issue. But if I see this, and I see Charlie Goldsmith doing this as well, that he did a show called The Healer. he'll ask people a lot of questions, and I start to incorporate this too, of like where their pain level is, do some work, ask them again where the pain level is, and to see if we're making progress with our focus on that energy, or do we need something different. But as I'm doing that process, I'm also doing a process as well where I'm working on their head trash and doing a guided meditation, if you will, to get them into that deeper space. So I'm going on two angles when I'm going a healing session. I'm getting their soul to ignite, to really, the soul level healing. Then I'm also clearing out all this mental debris that's either conscious or subconscious. So I'm working on two levels when I work with individuals, that they're getting a two-pronged approach, where some people will just focus on the physical, the energy of the body. But what I'm seeing on that, the mind loves to bring things back. The mind says, oh, where did that go? And it will bring it back, because the mind likes to be comfortable. The mind doesn't care if you're in pain, you're suffering. It wants to stay comfortable, it wants to stay in the familiar. So sometimes that's why I have, a friend of mine has a library of 10 of my meditations. And he'll listen to a different one each day, just depending where his body is. And it's really helping him. It's really helping him settle down and into this, because he can say, oh, this one feels right to me. This one feels right. And it's like he's his own alchemist. He knows what his body's doing, and he's pulling out the energies, the different qualities of energies. And he's just finding that. So I have all these stories, and I can't explain it because it's not my mind doing it. It's just that the spirit, the soul that is doing it. I just learned to get my mind out of the way and let spirit, soul to lead. And that's really it. So that's where my intent is for the Vibrant Soul Society, is doing these multiple live sessions a week, so people can be their true self, their greater essence, then create that life that they wish to create. We're here to enjoy life, but a lot of people are not enjoying life because the mind's filled in with all this stress, all these anxieties, all these worries. They're not coming from their spirit. That's coming from the mind. The spirit is always encouraging onwards. Like, how do we move forward from spirit? Deepak Chopra, when people ask him a question, he'll say, go meditate. That's Deepak's go-to instruction, is go meditate. But I do a little more than that, because all people are meditating on rules. They don't know how to do it, whatever. So I do a guided meditation that really settles them into their spirit, their soul. Jason and Scott, we probably should have done a session before the interview. That would probably give you a lot more experience of what I actually do, and you could feel that deep peace. Then explain it to people, what it feels. Actually, maybe we can do that after the interview, and you can go back and just share your experience of feeling what your spirit feels like, because I can't quantify it. And the Buddha couldn't even explain what it feels like to be you.
That'd be a great bonus to add on.
We love that, and to be honest with you, we love you. But I get this whole thing about the head trash. It's almost like when a person loses their leg, their head has phantom pain over that leg. So what I hear you saying is, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's really all about trust, and trusting that spirit and enhancing that connection with the spirit, so that you can develop a deeper and deeper trust at a deeper level. Isn't that correct?
That's exactly it, Jason. We're actually taught not to trust ourselves, that we don't know what's best for us. So it is reestablishing that trust with ourselves, learning that skill of discernment, that we can trust ourselves, but how do we get rid of that mind that's trying to confuse us? So it's really about learning to trust, because that's one of the big things I teach is trust. We're constantly told not to trust yourself. Look at all the ads on TV. They're trying to convince you that you don't know what's best for you.
Nice. Now,
Sure.
speaking of your teaching, what we really want to know, and we want our audience to know, is how they can get a hold of you to learn from you and to get some of these powerful lessons that you have to offer.
Well, what I'm doing because I want to make the Vibrant Soul Society affordable for everyone. That's my intention. So for those that join in January or February, it's simply $11 a month. just $11 a month, and I'll be there 2 to 4 times a week live. There's discussion groups. There's actually a stage in there for people to share their gifts if they're a practitioner. There's a library. There's all sorts of I'm throwing all my teachings into the Vibrant Soul Society because I really want this to be a community where we all help each other. Maybe somebody will come as a dream expert. Maybe a hypnotist will be there to help people through issues. And maybe there'll be different forums and discussion groups. I'm just putting this seed out there. We're creating a Vibrant Soul Society to create a new way forward. And I'm just overseeing it, but I want all these other contributors within this group to help people. Because I see there's not one way for everybody. My way is to sit quietly. Maybe it's something else for someone else. Maybe there's a different process, a different technique that will help them. So I really want this to be an avenue where all vibrant souls come together to know who they really are and how they get there and live their life to enjoy life. The simple cause we want to enjoy life. We don't want any of these limitations, any restrictions. We simply want to enjoy life. We can call it whatever we want, but simply we want to be ourselves and enjoy life and trust ourselves fully.
So for our audience, this is Vibrant, Vibrant, Soul, SOUL, Society, SOCIETY.com. So that's right?
Yeah, they'll see that. Then they'll see a link there to join because it's on the Circle app. So they can see it on their phone. They can always be in touch with each other because it has a very good mobile app on Circle. So I built the platform on Circle. And it's very easy to use. It's very to add new spaces, new areas for people to contribute. It's really easy to build a community. I think it's one of the things we're lacking in society is the community where we learn to trust ourselves and be ourselves. And that comes in so many different flavors. Like I always say, one size does not fit all. One size fits you. So we have to find this community, this balance of what pieces do we need to bring in to help people find their path, their way forward.
And this has been interesting. We could talk to you all day. Now, I know you get your email address on that website too. So if anyone wants to contact you for like private services or something like that, you're available for that as well?
Yes, I do the privates as well. Yeah, because some people like that library that I create for them, or they have this library of, healing meditations, if you will, where it's a soul level, where I'm just contacting and focusing on certain areas. Like this person had long-term COVID, so we did a practice for that. Then he had some other issue, and we focused on that. And it's just because of the body goes through different things and different challenges. So yeah, I'm curious with this a little 5-10 minute practice for you, and we can then you come back and describe it to your audience. I'm curious to hear how you would feel about this. I'm always curious. People react to this differently, so it's always interesting people's responses to this.
So that when you're thinking of working with others, and maybe they don't ask you to work with them, so you also believe in contacting your spirit through the power of prayer or doing something to help others, even though they're not actively looking for it?
Well, that's where you have to be mindful of the boundaries. Some people, you just can't give random healings, if you will, because you don't know they're going through that human experience for a reason to learn something. And for me to intervene without their permission isn't really an ideal thing. But if somebody comes to me and says, like a friend of a friend, I went to her and see if she was okay with us doing a session. I just didn't do a session. I'm not going to randomly do a remote healing on someone after not asking for it, because it's also dangerous for them. That's best way I can describe it. There's people that describe to me when I'm connecting to them, they see bright white light. And if they're driving or doing something where they need their attention, they see suddenly this bright white light in front of their eyes, that's not actually very safe. So even when I have my link to schedule remote healing, I give very clear instructions. Make sure you're in a safe space and you're not doing anything. You're sitting relaxed. Because when I'm connecting with you, people see white lights. Some people feel all sorts of things, and I want to keep them safe, but I don't want them to endanger themselves. So I don't know what you're going to experience today. Every time I do this, it is different. It's never the same because Jason, you were different. Scott, you were different. What you ate today is different. The way you slept today is different. Everything is different about your bodies. So this experience will be different for each one of you. Even though you're sharing the same energy with you, you'll each have a different experience. Hmm. Nice smiling, Jason. God, how are you feeling? How's that pain?
The pain's it's there still,
It's still,
obviously, but I feel high.
you feel high.
Yeah, I feel like I feel after I got a really good massage, you know, that release of endorphins and how you get a good joint. I don't know if you know that part of it, but yeah, and I feel like I feel like I got a good buzz going.
Okay, great. That's interesting.
Real
And I feel
relaxed.
real relaxed. That's your soul. Your soul has taken over when you're relaxed like that and feeling high. Some call that the bliss. When you're feeling that bliss,
I
that
can see that.
yeah, that's the soul. You're you're one with your soul right now. But that blue and green energy is in your spine, and it will be there for the next few days. It feels like it needs to do some more expanding work in there. It's almost like some compression. So they're trying to create space and expand. That's the way I see it. So it's beautiful that you're feeling that bliss. That's
Thank
beautiful.
you so much.
That's your soul. That's what we're trying for. Jason, I see a nice big smile on your face too.
Oh, good. Thank you. I appreciate this, Baba-san. Thank you. That was fun.
Thank you.
I enjoyed that. Thank you.
So what did you get any profound feeling or anything like that? We know Scott is in that state of bliss.
It was interesting because, I was focusing on sending those energies to Scott to heal those back pains that he was going on. But what else I find is interesting is how the universe aligns. And right before I came here, literally right before I came here and opened this up, I was in a joint hypnosis session with a friend of mine, Devin, and we were hypnotizing a guy by the name of Alan, and he wanted to work on posture. And together we were working on posture. And one of the things that Alan had done, not Alan, that Devin had done to Alan, was he did some visualization where he visualized the stars and the vastness of the sky, just like you're talking about. And as the sky expanded and the stars expanded, it expanded his spine and created space in his spine. Great visualization. And it just surprises me that nothing happens by accident.
No, it's all perfect. It's all perfect. You know that we did some light healing. We did a pretty intense healing there, especially on Scott. We get into these rules, restrictions that healing has to last 90 minutes. It has to last an hour, last a half hour. Why can't healing happen, a slip of a finger? It's just like once we tell the soul, we give soul permission to the soul, take over, take care of the healing, and we just get out of the way.
Let me
Guys,
let me wrap this up here real. Hey,
Okay, yeah.
thanks for joining us on this show, and thanks for coming to the Hypno Travelers on the Magical Psyche Highway. We're glad that you were here, and it's been great having you here, Baba-san. We love having you as a guest. It's been wonderful. Thanks for the little bonus you've given us too. And
Yeah, it's
yes, thank you.
this is what I do. So hopefully I'll see people in the Vibrant Soul Society and we'll just create this collective energy and we'll just birth this new earth where we're at peace, trusting and loving one another because we're all spirit doing our very best. And this mind is creating so much confusion and hurt that doesn't need to be there. So wishing everybody lots of peace and love. And thank you to Jason and Scott for this opportunity.
Thank you too.
thank you.
Scott, did you have anything you want to add to our
And
audience?
what a great trip it was.
That's right.
Yeah, just great to help. And it's nice that Scott got some relief and got some bliss, got to feel that bliss. Not everyone feels that bliss the first time. So that's really beautiful. That
Cool.
is who you are, Scott. That is really who you are. You are that feeling of bliss. Regardless of the heaviness and pain of the body, you are the bliss.
That yeah, there's something that it's hard to explain. It's like after you get a massage, that feeling that you get in there. It's a bliss slash high, body high kind of thing. That it's just, yeah, because I'm sitting comfortable. It's not like I'm not, you know.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
So remember, if you like us, give us a thumbs up. If you don't like us and you think we're assholes, give us a thumbs down. We don't care. Follow us, comment, share it with others. Let us know who we are, and we hope to see you back next week. Thanks again for allowing us to be here. Baba-san, thanks for allowing us to take a trip down your magical psyche highway today.
Wow, what a trip. Thanks for taking that journey with us today. Please like us, share us, and enlighten us with your views of the topics we drove into today. We appreciate you and love reading your comments. Thanks again, and we hope to see you back on the bus next week. That's right.